Hey, what's happening, everybody? Paul here, coming at you from my off-grid my living off-grid here. And I thought that for today's video, what would be pretty cool is if I go over what I believe to be my current top 10 tools that I find I'm just using repetitively over and over again on the property in these projects as I'm building my garden, as I'm converting my shed into a cabin, into a home. And what are the top 10 tools I keep finding myself coming back to and using over and over again? What were the best purchases, tools-wise, that I've made? So in this video, I'm talking about tools to complete projects. I'm not talking about solar power. I'm not talking about my laundry machine. Okay, I'm talking about tools, hammers, wrenches, screwdrivers, stuff like that. So let's just kind of kick right on into it. Not necessarily brand specific. I just done my own research, and if you find you want to investigate in any of these tools, just research the brands and all that for yourself. But I just thought this would be pretty cool. I get a lot of questions from people, a lot of viewers that are watching the channel, coming to the channel, who are at that point where they are planning their off-grid move, right? Moving to an off-grid location and beginning their off-grid journey. So I get a lot of people that ask about prep lists and making sure that they've got all the things that they need and all that. So I did a video on my top 7 or something preparations for off-grid living. I'll go ahead and put a link to that video if you want to check that out. This video is top 10 tools, and this is my current list, and that does not mean that the list can't change later on with time. Maybe as the projects change and all that, I may have a different top 10 tools list. But as of right now, current state projects that are going on, these are my top 10, and let's get to the first one. Okay, so I have a few different axes here, and first one, I've got a splitting axe, a splitting maul. I've got a felling axe for taking trees down. I've got my kind of all-purpose chopping axe. And then, of course, my little hatchet. And you've seen me use pretty much all of these axes at some point in my videos. Probably see me use this one quite a bit. And it's just a good idea to have some different axes, at least a chopping axe and then a splitting maul. They're a little bit different from each other. But if I had to kind of sum it up to all my axes, if I could only choose one, it would be this little Fisker right here, this Fisker X15 chopping axe. This is a great, just kind of multi-use axe. You can get everything done axe-wise with this little axe. I've taken trees down. I've split wood with it. It's just a fantastic tool. But having a good axe, absolutely necessary on a homestead or, as you're exploring your off-grid living. All right, let's go over to station number 2 for our second tool. I have everything kind of broken down into stations for you. It's just kind of for my own entertainment in the video here. Number 2, this bad boy. Having a good cart, or at least a wheelbarrow or something. All right, so my cart here has been absolutely incredible, and this has been probably, along with my axes, one of the best purchases that I made. I think it's like 7 cubic feet. So it's about the same size as my wheelbarrow. But man, you can haul a lot of stuff, and you get pretty creative with this thing, different ways you can use it. And the best part is it's a dump box. So it just makes everything so easy, with this thing. It stays out in the rain. A lot of times, if you want to collect water in it, you can, or I'll just have it like this, and then you don't have to worry about water collection, and, the bolts and pieces rusting out or anything like that. But this thing has been absolutely awesome, and it holds a lot of stuff, and no matter how heavy it gets, it is easy to move this thing around. And this thing, honestly, I use this every single day. So not only to haul around material, but as I'm going into the woods to fell a tree, I throw my axes in here. I throw the chainsaw. I throw my rope in here. Everything that I need or may need for whatever task, I just throw it in here, and then I just haul it around with me. So cart, man, this thing has been one of my best purchases. All right, we're just gonna be cranking right through these. Let's go to tool number 3. This thing's a beast. I absolutely love this thing. Tool number 3 is my chainsaw, and I've got 2 chainsaws. Both of them are battery powered. I got this little Ryobi 12-inch blade. This is my little baby chainsaw. It's great for baby cuts, you know, little cuts here and there. And then I have this 20-inch bar, this Dewalt 60V Max. This thing is a beast. All right, so this chainsaw right here, the Dewalt 60V Max, this thing is a monster. And I did a lot of research on battery operated chainsaws, and this guy just won. I took the chance on this one, and this thing, it cuts like my old still that I used to have. This thing cuts like a 50 or 60 cc. I mean, it has been very, very impressive. In fact, when the guy was here to drop off the shed, I had to drop one more tree really quickly so that he can get the shed safely to the spot where it's at. And when I came out with this thing, he was like, oh no, it's a battery operated chainsaw, man. I don't see this going very well. But when I took that tree down with this thing, he was really impressed. He's like, dude, I'm gonna have to get me one of those, because holy crap. Like, I was not expecting that. But this thing it just cuts. Some people I've seen reviews on, they're, you know, saying how they have a hard time finding a chain for it. If you understand the chain size, the dimensions of your chain, I've had no problem finding new chains for this saw. None at all. Like, you can go with an Oregon chain. You can even use their rip chains in it. I don't know if I'll do any milling with this saw, just because you really want something that's got like a 90 cc power when you're milling with a chainsaw. I mean, that's really the roughest thing you could do with a saw. And I'm not sure what it would do to the batteries here. It might end up burning out the batteries. I don't know. I'd have to try it. But maybe to do some milling on some 4-6 foot long pieces, something like that, milling through this, you know, this southern yellow pine, pretty soft stuff. Yeah, maybe I might give that a try at some point with this thing, see what it can do. Definitely wouldn't be milling any kind of, like, you know, black walnut or something with this, but yeah, this thing has been awesome. So just a chainsaw. I've used a couple different brands of battery powered. I've used that one that starts with an A that Harbor Freight sells. My dad's got that one. It's the 80 volt. That one's all right, but this one it kicks its ass. I used the Milwaukee one that's kind of like the equivalent to this. Again, I feel that the DeWalt it kicked its ass. This one's a little heavy. The battery is pretty heavy, but whatever, man. Stop complaining. I mean, yeah, maybe if you're, you know, felling trees all day as a profession, okay, but you know, deal with it. You know, but find the chainsaw that works best for you. This is the one that, you know, over my research, this is the one I wanted to go for, give it a try, and I've been happy with it thus far. Alrighty, let's move on to tool number 4. I think that's the one that we're on. So excuse my mess over here. I got to do some cleanup. But number 4, I would say, is having a good, powerful drill. And, you know, I use DeWalt tools because I just been using them for a long time. And I have a bunch of their batteries and all that stuff. I started using DeWalt back when I was, you know, in my skate park days, when I was building skate parks and stuff. And, you know, it's just change companies now. I'd have to buy a whole bunch of new batteries and all that, so which would be a pain. So it's just, that's why it's not necessarily that, like, oh, it's got to be DeWalt. But at this point, it's really just a matter of convenience for the batteries and stuff. And, I mean, I do like the tools. I mean, they last me. They've got good power. They've got good battery life. You know, I really don't have any complaints for them or anything. You know, sometimes people are like, yeah, they're a little more expensive. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know. I mean, the tools, if you take care of them, they take care of you, and they can last a lifetime. But having a good drill really, really, you know, I could hand screw everything in, you know, with a screwdriver, but I mean, some things that would be a little ridiculous. So good drill. All right, next one. Okay, tool number 5 out of my top 10 living off-grid tools that I'm currently using on my projects. Besides my axe, which is probably really my favorite tool, is my axes. This one would be a close second place. And it's just a hammer, man. Like, I love using a hammer. I love pounding in nails. I love having to hit stuff when it's not cooperating and I need to get it in place. Just love, love, love using a hammer. You know, I don't know. It's just something primitive about it. But I actually like using mechanical powered hand tools as much as I can. I love using my axes when it comes to felling trees. I actually prefer it more than using my chainsaws. I don't know, it's just something. I don't know what it is. I just really, really enjoy it. Yes, the chainsaw is faster, but the axe just feels cooler, you know, and I actually do know why. Maybe I'll do another video on it at some point. But same thing with a hammer, you know, like it's just, the thing never jams, it never runs out of ammunition, it just, you don't have problems with it. It just keeps on going, it goes all day long, and I probably use the hammer just about every single day. My axe I probably use just about every single day. Pretty much all of these tools I use just about every single day. I find some kind of use for them. So just having a good hammer, you know, if the nail gun fails for whatever reason, you got your hammer and you can still get stuff done. Alrighty, on to the next. I think we're on number 6. We got to get in here for this one. Skill saw, another one that I use a whole lot of. Yeah, you can hand saw stuff. Again, I like using mechanically powered tools, and I do use my hand saws, especially where I need to. But yes, when you want to get stuff done, having a good skill saw, a good circular saw, absolute must. Again, I use Dewalt mainly because I've been using them. I have a whole bunch of their batteries, and it's just the convenience of having their batteries. So now I just have to go buy the tools. I don't have to go spend all this money on batteries. And if I was to change companies, like I said before, I'd have to go buy a whole bunch of new batteries and stuff. So, you know, whatever brand that you like most, but a skill saw is definitely in my top 10 list. On to the next. All right, next on the list of my top 10 off-grid tools is having a draw knife. If you're going to be using your own timber that you're cutting down on your own property to build things for projects and stuff, you're going to want one of these. And I had a hard time finding one of these, actually. I ended up having to order one. If you've watched some of my previous videos kind of from the beginning, you know, I went through a little struggle. I went to all the big box stores, the local hardware stores, and nobody carries a freaking draw knife anymore, even these little ones, and I had to order it online. I'm trying my best to purchase as much as I can in person. I am so tired of having to like order stuff online all the time. I mean, some things, sure, it makes sense, but I just miss the good old days of being able to walk into a store and just buying the thing that you want, you know, that you want to get. And this was definitely not one of those items. I had to order it. But again, I use this tool a lot, and I see it being used a lot in the foreseeable future. I got a lot of stuff I'm going to be using my own timber to build with. So if you like that kind of construction and stuff, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned, because got a lot of cool projects coming up that I'm going to be using my own logs and all that stuff with. So I'll probably end up getting another one, maybe a bigger one, and that way I could just kind of compare. But having a draw knife, my friend, just be prepared that you might have to order it online. The stores in your local area likely are not carrying these anymore, as they should be though, man. If you couldn't tell, I'm very passionate about my draw knife. All right, next one. All right, next on the list is this beast, and it is my auger. Oh yeah, Now, you haven't seen me use that on video yet. You have seen, I think, me use my post hole digger. So if you don't have the auger, make sure you at least have a post hole digger. So like I said, you have not seen me use the auger in a video yet, but you absolutely will be seeing this tool in action in upcoming videos in the near future with some projects. Now, I have used it, and this thing is just absolutely awesome. It is a Ryobi. I'm trying to stick with some of the same brands, so that way, again, I'm not buying all these different batteries, because I have a tendency to lose chargers, misplace them, and batteries and all that stuff. So I don't want to be having to track down all these different batteries to all these different tools. So I'm really just trying to stick with, you know, two brands. I got Dewalt and Ryobi, and it's just for the convenience, honestly, of batteries and chargers. I don't know. I don't think it matters too much on brands that you're choosing, whatever tools you choose to go with. I mean, obviously brand's going to matter somewhat. I mean, you don't want to buy something so cheap that it doesn't work and it was a complete waste of money. But with these two brands, I've been happy with them so far with what I have. And we'll find out long term. I don't know if this thing is going to last 5 years or whatever, but maybe it will. And if it doesn't, I'll update you. And if it does, I'll probably update you. Well, you'll know because I'll be using it in videos. And if the thing fails, I'm going to let you know through the videos. So we'll find out. But so far, this thing has been, it's been awesome. It's a great beast. So like I said, if you don't have an auger, or maybe it's just not in the budget, make sure you got a post hole digger. You'll probably be making some holes. All right, next tool on the list of top 10 tools for my off-grid living here is my brush cutter. This has the 10-inch brush cutting blade on it. Again, this is by Ryobi, and this thing has been an absolute beast, and you've seen me use this quite a bit, especially in my first couple of videos when I was clearing this whole, I call this the island, where, you know, I've got my house and all of that, gardens are going, fruit tree orchards, because my road, my drive, it goes all the way around this like 1.5 acres, 2 acres or so. And yeah, that's why I call it the island. But I cleared pretty much this whole thing with this guy and loppers for some trees. And my axe, my little axe I showed you, my chop axe, my all-purpose axe. I've used that a lot too. But this thing has been absolutely awesome. And surprisingly, the battery, it lasts for a good hour, maybe a little over an hour. I can clear about a ½ acre with this thing on one battery. So, I mean, it's been doing pretty good. And the battery life on these, I haven't noticed any kind of diminishment in them. Not, at least not yet. They've been lasting, man. They've been going really, really, really good. So this thing's got a lot of power, and what I like about it is if you hit something that it cannot handle, it just stops. It just stalls it out. So you're not going to sit there and be screwing up your blade and, you know, all that stuff, and, you know, worrying about breaking your blade and having pieces flying around at you or anything like that. You know, there's some really good safety features that are just built into these tools. I mean, I don't know. Can't really, I can't complain about them, really. I don't have any complaints about them. They're powerful tools, especially being for battery operated. And they've so far seem to be good quality. And, you know, after about an hour, 10 minutes or something, you know, it's good to take a break anyways. Maybe kind of shift gears, move into another project, you know, just kind of switch up. I really don't want to be brush hogging with this thing, or brush hogging, or, you know, brush cutting with this thing for, you know, 3 or 4 hours. And if I had that capacity on one battery, I probably would do it for like 3 or 4 hours. That's the kind of person I am. But it's nice having these battery operated tools where it's like I have this limited amount of time. Otherwise, I will go until I just burn myself out. It's just the way I've always been. And I'm trying to not be that way. I'm trying to be the guy that can work till like 5 o'clock, till dinner time, and then stop, have dinner, and enjoy the evening. Otherwise, by default, I'm the guy that will just work all day, work all night on the same task, no matter how boring and how much I hate it, until it's done and I'm just completely burned out of it. And I don't want to do that anymore, okay? I want to enjoy the day and enjoy the process. Plus, I find when you take your breaks, you make less mistakes because you stay fresh. You know, staying fresh like that, another good point on why I like these battery operated tools, and I have that limited amount of time. It's enough time. Like my saw, it lasts. It lasts plenty of time for what I'm going to be using it for. But, you know, another really good point on having that limited time is safety. You know, as you're just kind of going through the motion and you're getting worn out over time and you're just like, I'm going to push through, that's when you start making mistakes. And that's when you're putting yourself at a greater risk. It's already a risk using these tools. You know, I mean, you can make a mistake. Things can go wrong. Things happen. But when you're getting tired, you're getting burned out, you just want to get the job done, that's when you're at an even higher risk of making a costly mistake. So that's just another reason why, one, I like using my mechanical power tools, my hammer, my axes. It slows me down. So I got to be more methodical on what I'm doing. I got to think. And then I like using these battery operated ones because I have a limited amount of time. And I find that time limit is just really, really good at, okay, gives me about an hour, maybe 50 minutes to about an hour and 10 minutes. And that's a perfect amount of time for me to be like, okay, let me take a break, switch gears, refresh my mind, refresh my body, and then I can give it another go. You know, let the battery charge, and then I can give it a go. And the battery's charged relatively pretty quick, just on my little Bluetti solar over there too. All right, we've made it to number 10, the final one on my off-grid top 10 list of tools that I find myself currently using all the time. This tool, I don't think this one is like an essential. It's not a necessary. It's more of a luxury, okay? It's freaking sweet. All right, let's get back in here for this puppy. Nailgun. I got the 30-degree Dewalt framing nail gun, and oh man, this thing has been awesome. And I've been so spoiled with this thing, and I can just go boom, 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 and just shoot everything in. It's super fast, and I'm spoiled. I love using my hammer, but this thing has been just freaking awesome. Again, Dewalt. Same reason, got lots of batteries, only had to purchase the tool, didn't have to do the whole overpricing of the tool with the battery. Because usually sometimes when they give you the charger with these, they give you the cheap slow charger with these, but you're paying more for it. So when you can, and when you can kind of just, when you have your collection of batteries and chargers, what's nice is then you could just buy the tool. And over the years that I've been accumulating these tools, that's just what I've done. So this thing's been awesome. I'm probably going to get their finisher, Nailgun, as well, to try that when I get to that point. But I've had the pass load for years. I was using pass load, and it's a great Nailgun. But now, with this guy, I don't have to be buying fuel cartridges for this thing all the time. And the pass load just kind of wore out. I don't know what's wrong with it. I did all the maintenance to it. It might be something in the trigger. I don't know. But I'm like, hey, you know what? This is a good opportunity for me to go check out Dewalt. I've been looking at these for quite a few months now, and I've been wanting to get one. I've been putting it off because I'm like, I don't need one. It's unnecessary. I'll just use my hammer. But I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to break down and get one. Actually, it was one of my viewers left a comment, hey, you should get the Dewalt Nailgun because since you already have a bunch of the batteries. And I think I replied to them like, you know, I've actually been looking at that Nailgun for a while. And when that commenter made that comment, I was like, damn it, I know I'm going to end up buying one. I didn't want to spend the money, but I knew I was going to anyways. So I did, and I'm really, really happy that I did. Okay, well, there you have it. This is my current top 10 list of tools required for off-grid living as you're completing all these basic projects. Again, the list may change over time. It probably will, but I think some of these tools are going to stay staples pretty much for the rest of my life. I mean, the hammer has always been a staple of mine. The axe has always been a staple of mine. And when it comes to mechanically powered hand tools, I mean, they really just can't be beat when it comes to reliability, right? I mean, they don't jam, they don't run out of ammunition, they don't run out of battery power, they don't run out of fuel. You know, they run out of fuel when you run out of fuel. But so do those power tools, right? I mean, when you're done and you need to just kind of shut off and take a break, you need to be able to just shut off and take a break. You need to know when to pull the plug on yourself. I'm really bad at that. At least I have been for majority of my life. Like back in the day when we're building skate parks, it's like, hey man, let's just put in 16-hour days and get this shit done in like 3 days. Why take 2 weeks? You know, because then we can skate it, right? We got the rest of the time, we can just skate, you know, and have fun until we reopen the skate park. But that's when you start, you know, getting mismeasurements, your cuts are getting sloppy, and then you got to redo stuff, and it costs more money, and it takes more time. And it's like, look, there's a reason why, you know, there's countries in the world that have a 6-hour workday instead of an 8 or 9 or 10 or 12-hour workday. Take the 6-hour workday when you're doing your off-grid stuff. You're going to get a lot done. You're going to make progress at least a little bit every single day, which adds up in the course of a week, 2 weeks, a month, and so on. But there you got it. My top 10 tools plus a little rambling. All right, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment below. Be sure to share this video with anybody you know that's interested in the off-grid life. Or maybe it's a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, family, whatever, that you're trying to convince them to move into the off-grid life. I don't know. Maybe I can help you out a little bit on that and win them over. I don't know. I'll do what I can for you. I'll do what I can. I think that, well, I can't say that. I don't think everybody should be living this lifestyle, but I think everybody that wants to live this lifestyle should absolutely be living this lifestyle. This has been just an amazing experience for me so far, and it's only been a few months, but I have no complaints. It's been great. I'm doing a lot. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning about myself a lot, and it's just such a good feeling to be kind of building your own, you know, and being outside in nature every single day. You know, the purpose of this lifestyle for me is that I want to be outside. That's why I've got this little shed conversion to cabin, and I'm doing a whole wraparound porch and some other little additions and stuff. But the whole thing is really to promote living outside amongst the elements as much as I possibly can. In this life, we've got one shot at it, and I don't want to spend the vast majority of my time inside of a concrete box, you know, inside these man-made walls. I want to be out here in nature. I'm a natural human animal. I'm in the forest, and that's where I want to be, and this is where I want to spend my time. And that's why I came out here, to garden, to grow my own food, to minimize my indoor time, but do it in a way where my indoors also feels like it's part of the outdoors, and it feels like it's part of nature. So if this lifestyle resonates with you, it's something that you've been wanting to do, something that you've been thinking about, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Got lots more coming, lots of really cool projects in the work, and you're gonna be entertained and enjoy all of my mistakes and mishappenings and successes that I get to achieve. You know, I'm not worried about any of it. I'm not worried about making mistakes, building something wrong. You know, as long as everybody that's here stays safe, I'm safe. Anyone that visits is safe. I'm okay with having to rebuild stuff and learn, and you know, it's just what it is. It's a learning process, and it's an experience, and it's life, and it's freaking awesome. All right, enough. I'll see you back here next time.